Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm pleased to be joined by Kirk from Cherries Red Army to get his perspective on the game on Monday night. Kirk, start us with your team, please. Bournemouth, how's the season going?
Well, better than we thought it might go at the start of the season. I mean, we were just hoping to finish 17th come the end of it, but we're currently sitting in 12th. Obviously, we've had a management change currently under the ownership interim manager of Gary O'Neil, which I'm sure we'll speak a little bit more about very soon. But we'll currently take where we are at the moment. 12th in the Premier League is very fine for us.
Well, let's start with Scott Parker, then we'll do Gary O'Neil. What did you make of the sacking of Parker?
I'm not surprised, to be fair. As I went into the Premier League, I said he'd very much struggle. I thought he did very well to get us out of the Championship, but there was a lot in last season for Bournemouth fans to be concerned about. And it was very early on in pre-season that Scott Parker was showing his frustrations, lack of transfer activity, and he wanted everything on a plate. He didn't feel like, for us, he was wanting to improve those players, make them better players in the Premier League. And as time went on and we were losing against teams that were expected to lose against, but his press conferences were very downbeat. And he was talking about us not being competitive, not good enough. The players are not good enough. We're under-equipped in this league. And when you start telling Bournemouth fans that we're not good enough to compete. Remember, we were managed by Eddie Howe with League One players that lasted 5 years in the Premier League, and they probably shouldn't have been there, but we coped with it. And Bournemouth fans were never going to take to it. And it was the final nail in the coffin for Scott Parker after that Liverpool result. I can't say the score. I do apologise. I can't mention the score. And it was the right decision. It wasn't about that score. It was much deeper than that. There was definitely stuff happening behind the scenes that board and manager weren't agreeing on, and it was time for a change. And as you will see from our results since Scott Parker's left, we have been picking up points pretty much every game up to the last one.
Well, let's start and let's talk about the man responsible for those upturn in results and Gary O'Neil. Firstly, how's he getting on? And secondly, do you want him to be the permanent manager of Bournemouth?
Nice guy, works hard, came in about 18 months ago to be a coach behind the scenes alongside Jonathan Woodgate, then stayed under the Scott Parker team and then was given this interim position. Is someone that's looking to take this step into management at some point. He was given the task of just getting us back into form, lift the players who are on the floor, get some points on the board, and he's done that. What I would say is he's made us competitive, which is what Bournemouth fans wanted. We don't expect to win a lot of football matches. We just want to compete. And he's let the shackles off a little bit, not completely, but we've gone into football matches, scoring a few goals here and there, and got some points on the board. Do I want him as manager? No. Outside of Bournemouth, anyone on paper will look at it and go, he should get the job. But if you watch Bournemouth's football matches, it's too soon for him. He's inexperienced. It's perfect at the moment. Him managing the side alongside Tommy Elphick, ex-captain of Bournemouth, and Sean Cooper, ex-player. And we need to get to the World Cup. If we can pick some more points up, that would be great. But the new board that's coming in will be looking for a new manager. I'll be very surprised if they give this job to Gary O'Neil. But as we talk about this fixture coming up very soon, he very much focuses on the opposition. He doesn't really have an identity. He does worry about the threat of who we're playing. And that has caused us a few issues, especially against Southampton. So done a good job. But in front of the press conferences, he's been very good. You know, he's saying the right things. He's talking about players fighting for every ball and getting the fans back on side. And he's done that. Would he keep us in the Premier League? I think we'd struggle if we were to stay with him full time.
Well, who would you like as manager of Bournemouth? That's the question, isn't it? I think if you're going to say no, you're going to have to some extent an alternative. I appreciate you're just a fan, and I often dislike it when you talk about, like last season we would at West Ham say, oh, we could do with another striker. And people would say, well, who's available? But I don't know. That's not my job. I'm not a scout. I don't know which strikers are available. So I'm aware there's only so much knowledge you will have. But is there an ideal manager that you would like to see come in? Because I'm interested to see whatever your answer you give me is going to give a little bit of an insight into how you see Bournemouth going this season, I think.
$1 million question, that one is. Who will be the next manager of AFC Bournemouth? And that probably won't get answered until the takeover that's very close to going through will be confirmed. Remember, we'll be taken over by an American consortium, Las Vegas, owned Bill Foley. And he already, my understanding is, has a few names that he's been given on a sheet of managers potentially that we could bring in. Gary O'Neil might be in the mix, as I said, but I don't foresee that happening. Look, the difficulty for Bournemouth is Bournemouth fans expect a unique manager, someone that's got a style that's attacking, attractive, gets the fans involved. We're quite a unique team. I'm sure everyone says that, but you've got to buy into us. Together, anything is possible is our motto. And when you look at managers that are out there, I know that we were potentially talking to De Zerbi, who's gone to Brighton, so that one will definitely be crossed off. But you look at Sean Dyche and think, okay, he's got experience, but does he fit the mould of Bournemouth? Probably not. His long game style that he had at Burnley would definitely not impress Bournemouth fans. And although Scott Parker got his remit done and got us promoted, it wasn't that exciting for the majority of the time. And he got points on the board, but fans were still frustrated by performances. And we're going to want to get someone in who excites the fans, gets bums off seats, gets points on the boards, and interacts well with the fan base, because we bang on about Eddie Howe in this club so much because we can't get away from him. But he was such a genius, and he was a genius in so many ways, and Newcastle fans are seeing it now. So we can't bang on about him for too much longer. We need to get over it at some point, but we do want to see someone come in that has the mould of that and brings all of what we're looking for to this club and keeps us in the Premier League.
This video is sponsored by the Spitch Fantasy Football app, which comes with a few twists compared to your traditional Fantasy League game. Instead of telling you about it, I'm going to show you. Let's get up on the screen right now. How about that for a bit of magic? Now, when you load it up, make sure you click on Lobby on the bottom left. Make sure you're in the Premier League lobby, and the classic game is the one we're looking for. As you can see there, the middle entry costs £1.70 to get involved, and that's the one I've already entered into for this weekend. Click on it and get your players in. So you might fancy a little bit of Skamaka for this weekend. Don't blame you. I've got Anna Creswell on my team. Clean sheet and an assist coming up for Creswell. You heard it here first, I'm telling you. So we'll get rid of that because I've already entered my team. Now we're going to click on the prize pool. You can see there that the top 25% get paid out. There's currently 90 entries, and the top prize so far is £51. But if we scroll down, as you can see, 22nd place wins £8.53. If I win any money, I'm going to give it to one of you lot. Simply comment your thoughts ahead of the game as well as your score prediction of this video, and if I win money, one of you will get it. If you do fancy getting involved, please gamble responsibly. It is a gambling app, so you've got to be 18 or older to join up. However, the app is free to download, it's free to sign up, and there's plenty of free to play games on there, including the Hammers Chat League. It's quite legit for Gonzo 4. Big weekend for the Hammers Chat League this weekend. Links in description. Please do use that one though, so they know you come from Hammers Chat, and hopefully they'll continue to sponsor Hammers Chat. Anyway, that's Spitch. Let's get back to talking with Kirk ahead of Monday night's game. All right, I need a name from you here, Kirk. You don't get to sit on the fence. Who would you like to see come in? You got to pick. I've got a name for you. I've just written down a name on this bit of paper. I'll hide it. That I thought you were going to say that I think possibly fits the remit of what you were just saying that you want from a manager. So I thought, I bet he's a way to say this person. So I wrote it down just for a little bit of a game, really. So what's the? Give me a name. Come on, give me a name.
I don't really know. I mean, I'm not playing the game really, am I? And I'm going to disappoint you. I think that it could be a game changer for Bournemouth. We've got a 1.2 billion owner coming in, and his expectations are going to probably ramp up the club. We've got the smallest stadium in the Premier League, and we're going to be going from being potentially a small club to maybe a club that can do something in time. What I am hearing is we might go outside the box. We've always really had British managers. I was thinking about this the other day and don't think we've had anyone outside of the UK. And I think we might test the European market. We might go for someone like a De Zerbi, but we'll have to see. There might be someone like Graham Potter who came from, Sweden or Denmark, or someone that's done something in maybe the Europa League, Champions League, and brings something different. I can expect. I really don't have a name. That's my issue. I don't want Gary O'Neil. I think I want him at the club, but I don't want him as manager. I think he brings a lot, but it's too soon for him. But yeah, I don't have a name, but I'm interested to know what name you've written down.
I'm gonna put it in the bin now. You've just said that. I'll be honest with you. My knowledge of your prospective new owners is very, very limited. I didn't realise how wealthy he was or how much money he'd be ploughing in. But where you are today, without this new owner, Russell Martin, I thought that's who you were going to say. I thought you were going to maybe come up with Russell Martin.
You know what? That wouldn't work.
Why?
I'm telling you that for a fact. His style of play, we've played Swansea quite a lot, and he gifts a lot of goals trying to play out from the back. And Bournemouth fans don't always buy into that style, and they didn't buy into Scott Parker's style. So Russell Martin, I'm sure, is doing a good job at the moment at Swansea. I see them a little bit. They pick up results. They don't pick up results. His style of football definitely wouldn't buy into the Bournemouth fans, and that's not one that's doing the rounds at all. So nice guy, I'm sure. Definitely wouldn't fit the mould at Bournemouth. I can guarantee you that.
A bit of papers in the bin, don't worry. Right, big question then. Will you get relegated?
No, we'll finish 17th. We're always got to be optimistic. We always will be. We'll pick up points. We dropped points, sadly, against one of the teams up the road the other night. But, there's some big games in this league, some tough matches ahead. But I'll always believe we can finish 17th, and I'm sure we'll do some serious business in January as well.
Right, give me your 3 to go down then. Because for you to stay up, 3 is going down. So who are they?
Well, Villa look in trouble, but I wouldn't have put them in that basket at the start of the season. I very much thought that Everton would be down there under Frank Lampard. I thought that Southampton would struggle, that they beat us the other day, but I still think they'll be down there. Leicester picked up points again. This is tough, because I think there's 6 or 7 teams that could potentially go down there. You look at some teams who drop points, you think, Crystal Palace are going to fall into that bracket. Leeds under Jesse Marsh, I think I had them to go down in the bottom 3 when we did a pre-season prediction. I think there's 3 worse teams than us, hopefully. But I think it's in a mix of about 6 or 7. I don't think there's any 3 that are standing out. So I've thrown a few out there. I'm sitting on the fence a lot today.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves is a team that I would throw out there as well on your behalf. Players in form, anyone that West Ham fans should keep an eye out for in the Bournemouth shirt on Monday night?
Philip Billing, he's our top goal scorer at the moment. He does amble around at times. You think he's not doing a lot, but then he'll score a 25-yarder. Dom Solanke works hard up top. He sometimes becomes isolated depending on how we set up, but he's always a threat, much more than just a goal scorer. Tavernier is a workhorse, but his numbers are quite poor. Well, to be honest with you, his numbers are non-existent. No goals, no assists, but he is a great technical player with regards to his footwork and his work rate. Yeah, and you'll see the likes of Jeff Lerma trying to win the ball off Declan Rice. Lewis Cook will try and get us going up the pitch. And we've got some players in our team that are not quite getting a lot of football at the moment, which is strange, in the likes of Jadon Anthony, who come off the bench to score the winner against Nottingham Forest. But we've got players in there. Ryan Christie, who we bought from Celtic. He did okay in the Championship. Next step up, only again 1 goal. So we need a little bit more from these types of players if we're definitely going to finish 17th. But keep an eye on Dom Solanke and Philip Billing. Don't let him have space outside the box.
From your team to my team, what's your thoughts on West Ham?
I think you've had quite a weird start to the season, to be honest with you. I think that I was expecting a little bit more from you, but looking at your current form, you look like you're picking up. I know you lost recently on the road, but you look quite strong at the moment at home. I think you're unbeaten in 3, won the last 2. You've got some good players. I talked about your captain, Declan Rice, that probably is the driving force. Skamaka looks like he's building confidence in this new career of playing in the Premier League. I mean, I like your wingers. Jared Bowen, I think, is someone that's a talent. His numbers last season were decent, not quite matching them at the moment in the run rate that he got last season. And he's someone that probably needs to hit the ground more running, hopefully not against us, though, on Monday night. And then I think Antonio's someone that's always going to put himself about. He's a handle, isn't he? You're going to have to struggle to keep hold of him. And I think you've got your Fornals. I mean, again, he's like a workhorse, isn't he? He does a job. I don't think he's a massive threat, but you've got to keep an eye on him.
Interesting. That's an interesting way of describing that. He's sort of the topic of debate at the minute for now, and I think a lot of fans will be interested in what you've just said there. How do you see West Ham? I'm always interested. The reason I like doing these shows is because I get a completely different perspective and how neutral see West Ham. But when you just said you did a prediction show at the start of the season, where did you put West Ham in that? Can you remember? Just roughly. I don't need a precise one, but...
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think you're definitely in the top 10. I mean, I'd expect you to be touching Europa League again, those sort of areas. Your form at the start wasn't great. It's a David Moyes type of season every now and again. I think David Moyes has a very good career on paper, but he has these moments as a manager where he struggles to get a team going. But you picked up recently You know, we're looking to come to West Ham and get some more points. We've done okay at times at Upton Park and the London Stadium. I know we've had some bad days there as well, but you look strong at home. So anything we get on Monday will be a bonus. But yeah, I mean, I expect West Ham to be in the top 10. I don't think you're in any danger of struggling down the bottom half of the Premier League, and you might do some more business in January. But you've got some good talent. You've got some good youthful talent. You've got to keep you've got to get hold of the likes of Declan Rice. Is massive too. I keep thinking every season you'll lose him and he'll go to maybe a top 6 side or a top 4 side. But yeah, you're a decent side. It's some good games against West Ham. I do look forward to these types of fixtures.
Taking Newcastle to one side, because I think they're a bit of a unique case. Do you see any club like West Ham breaking the top 6 monopoly?
I don't think so. I think Newcastle will definitely get them, whether it's this season or next season. Eddie's doing what we all expected Eddie to do. Eddie doesn't expect massive things start straight away. He sort of starts a story and then it just kicks on, and he's doing that. He won't rush it. He's probably said that in press conferences and interviews that they're going along quite nicely. I expect Newcastle to be challenging for big things in a few years. But West Ham, I mean, I'm not sure what your ownership is like nowadays, but I always expect West Ham to try and push the boat out every now and again and try and touch that top 6. I just think sometimes West Ham, they win games you don't expect them to win sometimes, and then they lose games you think they should win. And that's what always trips any club up trying to get in the top 6. You need to be really consistent over a season. But West Ham can be hit and miss. You know, I think you lost at home to Brighton. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then
we always lose to Brighton. It's we've never beaten them in the Premier League. It's just a write-off that game.
No. But then you've been quite strong in the last 3 at home, and that for me is West Ham. It's really difficult.
I think promoted teams aside, so take out Fulham and take out Nottingham Forest. We won one and lost one anyway, but remove them. When you look at fixtures like for like compared to last season, I think we're 7 points down so far this season. So it's been a bit patchy. We are playing catch up already, although it's only 9 games in. How do you see Monday night going then?
It's all about the bounce back. We lost to Southampton in our last fixture. We should have beaten them. We dominated the ball, but was poor in the final third. You know, a team that couldn't buy a win. But our unbeaten run under Gary O'Neil, that went. So it's all about how we react now. And most people, Bournemouth fans, probably think it's going to be a tough night. We're probably not expected to get anything there at West Ham. We got Tottenham after that. I'm always hopeful that we can get something. I think if we get a draw, we get a point. I've said that a lot this season, by the way. If we get a draw, we get a point. We've done well, because any point in the Premier League for us is massive. So we've done it before. We've gone to West Ham and we've surprised them and we've come away with wins. And there's nothing to say that we can't do it. We'll have to be at our absolute maximum. Gary O'Neil's got to get this right. He got it wrong against Southampton. He completely messed up the formation, made tactical changes throughout the game, didn't work. So he needs to go back to basics, get players in their right positions and challenge for every ball. And we need to go in competing at half time. We don't score many goals in the first half. Only 2.
Neither do we. Don't worry about it.
So if we're still in the game at half time, it's anyone's game, and I'll always back us to get something. So I think a draw will be a good result for the Cherries on Monday.
Bet on 0-0 at half time. There we go. That's that sorted for Monday night.
We don't score many goals in the first half.
We don't score many goals. Full stop. Can I get any final words from yourself on the fixture, if you have any, as well as your all-important score prediction, please?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a good fixture. I hope it's a good game. We've had some down the years, especially at your place, and I'm hoping that Gary O'Neil thinks about this game better than he thought about Southampton. He gets the likes of Jordan Zamora in this game. I think Jayden Anthony's due a game. We can get on the ball because we don't dominate a lot of football matches. We can get in the final third. And we need Marcus Tavernier to be able to cross a ball onto Dom Solanke's head or even score. Anything from our £10 million winger would be nice. We just got to make sure that we keep an eye on your attacking talent that you have. We've got to make sure Declan Rice doesn't orchestrate anything from the midfield. And I'm going for a 1-1. Quite boring, but I hope it's a good 1-1. Monday night on Sky Sports as well, if you're not at the game. And it should be a cracker, hopefully.
The one thing that's guaranteed is a Ryan Fredericks man of match performance. That is guaranteed. And he's had a couple of penalty shouts. You know, he got booked for diving. Then he had another one which didn't get given, where he got pulled back. Was against Fulham. I think it was Tim Ream pulled him. And
that was Stonewall, by the way. I mean, don't get us started on VAR. We literally have had the bad run of it, and they say it comes around and it equals itself out. Well, I'm not seeing it right now. But,
I have to agree with why. I understand why you would say that, because I watched your game back against Southampton midweek, and the penalty that doesn't get given for Salisu's handball, and then I watched Aston Villa against Fulham last night at the time of recording on Thursday night. I watched that. It's identical, just smashed off the defender's arm at short. They're not that far away from each other, but yeah, that's a penalty. Whereas, and it's just inconsistent. And I think you were on the wrong side of the inconsistency on that occasion. So don't worry, West Ham fans have got a grudge with VAR at the minute as well. But anyway, listen, Kirk, thank you very much. I massively appreciate you jumping on. You want to hear and see more from Kirk, you can head over to the Red Cherries Army YouTube channel. The link to his channel is in the description of this video, and the link to his latest video will be on the screen in approximately 5 seconds time. If you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it, subscribe, and you to Hammers Chat. I'll catch you in a bit.